Please be advised this podcast features AI cloned voices created with human oversight. All content is reviewed by experts for accuracy and relevance. Welcome to the IADS Retail Park, where we map the shifting landscape of retail, one bold strategy at a time. I'm Maya, your host, and if you're joining us again, welcome back. If this is your first time, I'm thrilled you're here. Today, we have something special for listeners passionate about sustainability in retail. Christine Montar sat down with Pando Fashion, the French CSR consultancy behind some of the industry's most practical and trusted strategies. It's important to mention that this interview was conducted at the end of 2021, a moment packed with both urgency and opportunity for sustainability in retail. Christine, this is one of those topics that never goes out of focus.
Thank you, Maya. There's certainly no slow news cycle when it comes to sustainability. And my conversation with Pando was eye-opening. Their work with brands like Moncler, Besson Chaussures, and Louis Vuitton brings unique clarity to common challenges and misconceptions around CSR. The insights are just as relevant now as they were in 2021, and perhaps even more urgent.
One pattern that stands out in your interview is how Pando reframes the concept of where to begin with CSR. Could you walk us through their philosophy?
That's right. Pando really takes a comprehensive view. They encourage clients to look at much more than just raw materials and manufacturing. Their process covers everything from where threads and metals originate to logistics, carbon footprint, and in-store energy use. Importantly, they also consider what happens after the product is sold, including how customers use and care for it and how it's eventually recycled or disposed of. Every stage offers new opportunities for meaningful improvement.
That's a great way to put it. It's not just about ticking boxes, but truly understanding your product's full footprint and the opportunities hidden within it.
Absolutely, Maya. And Pando's role is remarkably flexible. They might enter at the earliest stages, say running a diagnostic with ISO 26000, or come in later to supercharge a specific project. Their ambition is always to help retailers reach a point of autonomy where sustainability is a reflex, not a separate initiative.
Let's dig a bit deeper. The supply chain is often cited as the single biggest challenge in sustainable retail. How does Pando support their clients through this maze?
That's a critical factor. Pando insists on radical traceability all the way down to Tier 4. That means mapping not just the factory Tier 1, fabrics Tier 2, and threads Tier 3, but the very origins of the raw materials, whether cotton, leather, or metal. They blend process audits with digital tracking tools, making the invisible visible.
What happens when brands discover weak spots, say with a supplier's environmental standards?
Pando's approach is to encourage improvement, not instant replacement. For example, if a leather bag standing process is problematic, they'll prioritize that for greener alternatives. When transparency on metal parts is tough, they suggest switching to more sustainable metals. It's about finding the highest possible impact for each SKU and supporting suppliers to get there.
Too often, we see brands stumble into greenwashing, sometimes inadvertently. What guidance does Pando offer on authentic communication?
Their message is both tactical and philosophical: act first, speak later. They stress do something, be humble, and then communicate. Real results must outpace marketing campaigns. Pando highlighted H&M's experience, heavily promoting a conscious line that made up just 10% of their range opened the door to consumer skepticism and accusations of greenwashing.
That's a key insight. Pace your messaging to your actual achievements rather than ambitions.
That's right, Maya. Pando recommends a layered approach to communication, starting with product-specific facts, a tag stating material, or made in origin, followed by website details, and only after broader corporate messaging about topics like store energy use or DEI policy. The aim is clarity over quantity. Don't overwhelm, but make every touch point count.
Now, we can't overlook the people side of change. Sales associates, in particular, can be powerful advocates or hesitant participants. What did Pando share on that front?
That's a great point, and Pando is acutely aware of this challenge. They note that sales teams understandably often perceive CSR as extra work. Their solution? Tailored training. With Bessenchosuers, store managers were upskilled as go-to CSR leaders for their locations, creating internal champions. At Montclair, they ran engaging distance learning sessions for associates, making them feel included, not burdened in the sustainability mission.
I'm impressed by how they blend inclusion with upskilling. Engagement rises when people feel the impact firsthand.
I couldn't agree more. Pando is all about embedding CSR into the day to day rhythm, efficient processes, practical toolkits, and the mindset that sustainability is business as usual, not an afterthought.
Let's pivot to the customer side. What have you learned from Pando about earning genuine loyalty through sustainability?
They believe loyalty is built not just through price or convenience, but through clear, honest value. For instance, Lothair, a luxury menswear chain, doubled down on services and community engagement. Think repair shops and second-hand boutiques within stores. At Montclair, CSR became a source of pride, not paperwork, boosting staff morale and employer brand strength.
Those are some great illustrations. Thank you for that, Christine. But impact must be measured. What KPIs does Pando use to track success?
They leave no doubt. The share of sustainable products in the assortment is key. Also tracked are the share of made in or locally sourced goods, the use of carryover items to minimize waste, and the number of supply chain certifications. The main takeaway? Each retailer must define sustainability in its own terms and measure what fits its unique DNA.
With so many sustainability labels and certifications, it's easy for both brands and customers to feel lost. How does Pando recommend navigating this landscape?
That's a fascinating challenge. Pando says to focus on a handful of clear standards, like GOTS for organic textiles, GRS for recycled content, and RWS for wool. 607 Max is their rule. Retailers' own labels such as Gallery Lafayette's Go for Good can be effective too, provided the rules are transparent and accessible. The message to customers must remain simple and trustworthy, even as the ecosystem grows ever more complex.
I hadn't realized the sheer complexity of label management until you shared that. It seems to always come down to a balancing act, enough clarity to guide, but not so much that shoppers tune out. Across your conversation with Pando, what's the single message you'd want listeners to remember about where retail sustainability is headed?
Pando's top priority for the years ahead is customer autonomy. The idea of equipping shoppers with the information and confidence to make their own sustainable choices. They're investing in digital education to turn their website into a go to knowledge hub. And their guiding principle? What feels like added value or a competitive advantage in sustainability today will become tomorrow's baseline expectation. Retailers who lag tend to become irrelevant at best or distrusted at worst.
Christine, your insights, woven from a detailed 2021 conversation, add incredible clarity to concepts that can often feel muddled or overwhelming. Thank you for guiding us so thoughtfully.
Thanks so much, Maya. I hope our listeners find these ideas both pragmatic and inspiring. Real progress in retail sustainability is possible, one practical step and one honest conversation at a time.
That concludes another episode of the IADS Retail Park. For more timely research and fresh voices at the intersection of retail and innovation, follow us on LinkedIn, visit our Substack, and keep this conversation going. Until next time, keep your curiosity burning, keep questioning, and keep pushing retail toward a brighter, more sustainable tomorrow.